Hi everybody, we're back again and we're bringing today for you guys some exciting new wire wrapping stuff today. I'll be showing you guys some really fun, awesome projects that I did. You can create whatever you wanted to. I'm going to give you a quick little guide. But ultimately, we're just showing off this new natural brass wire that we have, which is absolutely fantastic. I worked with it on several different pieces. Really great when you hammer it, really great when you just do little cute little pendants. Super easy to work with. You can use it on your beads. There's a lot that you can do with this. So we'll be talking about that. And then for you to shop today, it is, where is that at for them on the website?
So if you just go to vintage.com and you look underneath the main image, there's a picture with all the projects from today. And then it just says Vintage Live featured items. And so it's like everything that we're using today that we could think of is in there, from the resin to the colors to the wire, findings, charms.
Yes.
Also, some of the accent pieces. What's special going on with charms right now?
Yes, so today we're having a 30% off charm sale right now. So we used lots of charms today because we wanted to give you guys the ability to take advantage of that. So you can see these earrings have tons of charms on them, and they're super cute. Our bracelet does, just so you can accessorize all these handmade pendants if you follow these kinds of projects for your wire.
Okay, so why is the natural brass wire so special?
The natural brass wire it's, as you know, when you're working with solid brass versus the natural brass, the bendability difference is huge.
So it's like smooth like butter.
Yes, way easier to work with than if you're going to be working with solid brass, but you're getting a better experience despite being the same gauge.
Right, so it's uncoated. So we've had natural brass colored wire before, but that had like a colored nylon coating on it. So if you mar it, or if it doesn't never changes color, it's always that color. But the natural brass will match all of your findings, and the gauge that we have it offered in is really amazing because you can do, it's sturdy enough to do frames when you hammer it, and shapes, but you can also fit it through a lot of beads.
Yes.
And it's perfect for making ear wires as well, if you like to make your own ear wires.
Yes. But yeah, so that is basically the review of what's going to happen today. And then I'm going to start to actually show you guys this stuff. As you can tell, I'm already wearing some things as well. This is one of the wire pendants I made.
Do we have anybody commenting that we want to say hello to?
Yeah, we have lots of people commenting. We have Peggy, Cindy, Marianne, Candy, Jean, Wendy. So hi to everybody who's checked in already.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in on you a little bit so you can show on some of these projects. Now these earrings, what did you make these out of?
So this hoop is made out of wire. And then I have all of these jump rings and charms and a little bit of chain. So these charms are just, I wanted them nice and separated, so I added a bunch of jump rings. And these are still very light.
Yeah, I was a little worried because of the amount of jump rings. I was like, oh, are these going to be heavy? But they are really comfortable. Okay, and then I want to zoom in on your lovely pendant that you made, and you're going to be demoing that today, right?
Yep. So we'll do a quick demo of this. I'll give you my tips and tricks that I learned from my trials and errors of using the iridescence and such like that, and how to get it to look the best.
Do you want to also put on the bracelet, and then I can help you with that too, if it's just so you can show it to scale. I'll give you guys a wider shot of what Ainsley's doing for a second here. And then I'll get over and help her with comments after we get set up for the other view. Cute. So this clasp is fairly new, and we wanted to show how it can be a charm keeper as well. So these are some of the, just a couple of the charms that we have on sale right now. And
this bead is using our wire from today.
yeah, so lots of
For a
cute
wrapped
ideas.
loop.
So basic techniques and then some more fun advanced things we'll be doing today. Cute. All right, well, I think we can get set up for the demo view, and then I'll get your crop good. Do you want to do third? Do you want to do the third view,
What do you mean?
or is that good?
This, you just need to move it up a bit.
Okay. How's that?
A little too high, just tiny down a little tiny bit. That's probably good because I'll look down.
All right.
So. Okay, let me show you some of the projects from today. For today, I'm just going to show you this bracelet under the camera really quickly. We simply just have JR45s and charms attached with some iridescence. Popped on these cute little charms. Super gorgeous.
So Peggy said, so this can be hammered and the inside of the wire is the same color as the outside. So like any of our brass items that are in the natural brass, it's a natural oxidation process. So that means the center of it is going to be a slightly different color, but it's warm. So as we get in, so you can also relief the pieces and bring out the highlights. So it's the same material, and it will lighten and darken with age, just like the rest of our natural brass. Oh, did you see Corian's? She said, love those earrings, what the heck? I can hear her say that.
This is yeah, me too. This is just one of the shapes that I did, and I hammered it, as you can see. It was super easy to do. I just decided what I wanted to do, and then I just flattened it for some security. Now it's not really gonna go anywhere unless I'm like really pulling on it.
I'm just gonna move this sideways so that I'm not peeking over your shoulder.
And then I did this one as well. Kind of a fun freestyle shape. A bunch of little
cute
beads.
Janek says, oh, I love whimsy.
And look at this, guys. These aren't eye pins. This is more of the wire. We just simply hammered down one end and slid the beads on. And you can have your own paddle head pins.
I think those are a really good indication of what the dynamic color of the wire will do when you are working with it. Yes. Because really hammering the ends, it makes it a little brighter on the end. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be a smooth transition.
But yeah, so just the cute little head pins being made here. You can do that as well. Super easy to do.
And if you do those, like Ainsley was mentioning earlier, if you do those with the solid brass wire, it's just going to be harder to do.
Yes.
So you have to hammer a lot harder. Bending is harder. It's still a really great thing, but this is just smooth, really easy to work with.
This is one of my wire and resin pendants I did as well. So super cutesy. I just layered it up with some paints. I really liked using the stain to back this, and then going in with the iridescence as well, giving it a lot of fun dimension here.
Yes, so Renee says, will that brighter part will darken over time? Yes, it will.
Yes.
And so I don't know if you've ever noticed, but once something's been natural brass, it will oxidize faster than something that is just sitting on the shelf, doesn't really change color. But because of that, the process that naturally ages it, just like old brass will return to its patina much quicker than a brand new piece. So it will. And if you want to speed up that process, I always say just leave it in the bathroom for a day. Humidity will do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is just a leaf pendant I made. Just a cute little resin thing. And then I have my fairy wing necklace as well. And this was also very easy to make. And I will show you guys how I did this.
So that's probably light enough to wear as earrings if you wanted to make two.
Yes.
I do love it as a pendant though. I think
it
it's
is
really cute.
Definitely light enough. And
It's a
very
nice
cute
size.
earrings. And then last but not least, the earrings for today that I made. And so I just made these wire hoops and added all these charms and did a quick little iridescent on them. And if you guys want to know the exact pattern, I have a piece of chain, 4 jump rings, then a charm, 4 jump rings, then chain, 4 jump rings, so on and so forth.
So you're always putting 4 in between.
Yes. Always 4 in
It
between.
almost looks like a cool like wire coil when you did that, right?
Yeah, it's like, because it's messier. It's messier, and I like that dimension that I
So
adds.
you could probably take wire and wrap that in the center too if you wanted.
You definitely could do
to
that.
get that similar look without opening and closing jump rings, but I love what you did there.
Yeah, it's definitely more tedious, but it creates a beautiful design.
Yeah, so Wendy says, I do want to emphasize that it will never go to shiny raw brass. However, it will always be warmer even though it's lighter. This is true. So when I've done the gilded earrings before, and like even if you relief it all the way to its core, it always has a rosier finish than the yellow finish that's on raw brass. You can't ever, it's never quite the same as if it were never treated as natural brass. So, and I think that's part of why it also oxidizes differently than something that's just been sitting around on your shelf.
Yes. Okay, I think we can hop right into the demo now. I think we're good for that. So let me just clear my space a little bit so that I have some working room here.
Can you do me a favor and go to full screen for a minute? I'm going to check something on my phone. Just go to the full demo screen. Because I'm going to check something. We might need to add my camera back in when we get down for a minute. Because if I exit this, I'll need to do that, right?
Yes.
It's going to take a minute, so you can go ahead and start right in on your demo.
Okay, so you didn't know that you need your drawing skills, or you don't actually need them. This is optional, but it is very helpful. You can also go to the internet if you'd like to use that as a guide and find a piece of art. But the very first thing I did is I just drew the shape that I wanted. So I want to do a wing. You can do a few different trials and errors of wings that you want. Figure out, oh, do I like that? Maybe not. A little harder to draw without. And just decide what wing do I like, what shape do I like. There's lots of different wing shapes. You can take inspiration from the internet, as always. So you can just draw a bunch of different shapes, decide what you like, so on and so forth. I just try and keep it simple. You can make it more complicated. It's just easier when it's simpler. So if I have a shape that I like, I can simply use that shape as a guide. And if you're making earrings, it's gonna make all the world of difference of having that little guided shape. So first thing I like to do for these shapes is I make my loop. I make my loop a little bit bigger than I would like a normal loop on a eye pin, or head pin, because it's a pendant. Then we're just gonna straighten this out. So now that I have that loop, we're not gonna wrap it yet. Just straighten my wire out so it's a little bit easier to work with. And so it's not curling in my way like it was earlier. Okay. I'm gonna hold my finger down around here, and then I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna give a little bit of a bend. I'm creating this space here for where I'm going to do my little coils around it. So I'm just bending this now. And I'm gonna start my shape from the bottom of that bend. I'm gonna press down. I'm gonna start following that shape that I created. I like to use these very large cylinder pliers and help me like create these soft arches, as well as get any kinks out of my pieces here. I also have these as well, which is just a little bit smaller of a gauge. Lets me get into those little nooks and crevices a little bit better. I just make my minor adjustments to follow that shape. Yeah, it's starting to look more like it. So here I know there's going to be a bend, so I'm just going to pick up my piece and create a bend around there.
Just scrolling through comments here to see if there's any other questions.
I'm starting to just loop this back around.
It's nice to, if you're doing a series of these, like if you were doing these as a line that you wanted to make a bunch of them, it's really nice to just keep the sketch in your arsenal that
Yes.
and you can keep making it over and over. Like if you wanted to add these to your Etsy store or do a market with lots of pieces. How do you say how would you say when you work with the wire for a while, does it become a little quicker, the process?
I would say so, and it's easier when you don't have a camera in
Yeah,
front of
yeah.
your
No,
face.
yes. I think you're doing it very, very actually quickly and efficiently compared to me.
And it's easier if you also like cut this. I'm gonna cut it at this point because I know roughly of how much I'm working with now. So I'm just gonna give a little, I'm gonna be generous still, and I'm gonna leave some extra here for me to work with, to wrap. But now my job's gonna be significantly easier now that I don't have this flipping around in my way. Your camera's good?
Yeah. I'll set up. I'll just have to set up the zoom when you add it.
But yeah, if you guys can't draw, that's totally fine. Like I said, like you can literally just use the internet and print something out. Find a fairy wing you like, print it out, and essentially trace it with your wire.
Trying to follow you. Oh yeah, you're not on the split yet, right? I think because you tend to bend a little bit more, I can go a little lower on you. People thought I was so funny in art class because I would almost lay on top of my paper to draw sometimes. I thought that was really silly.
I used to do that.
Or like
so.
like in high school, my first job that I ever had was working at Jagel's Bakery in Galena. And when I was writing the application, I basically like laid down on the desk there to like write it. The lady was just like looking at me, so funny. I'm like, isn't this normal? I did it with my like taking tests in high school as well. I think there's like a yearbook picture of me like laying on the desk like that working too. I just thought it was normal until I realized it wasn't.
I used to do that. If I was like really tired, I would work on homework like that. So like it's not that unusual.
Yes, Kathy has a good point. You could use a wire jig for this if you wanted multiples. You for sure can do that.
Just getting the kinks out because I'm pretty happy with that shape. It's slightly different, obviously. I can, if I wanted it to be perfect, I could do that. I was very accurate with my other shape. It's a little hard to do it on camera, but I prefer this. So if I wanted to do this shape, right, I would probably just go through and make sure I traced it if I'm repeating it. So because I changed it ever so slightly, I would trace this piece with just like my pen. Okay. Now at this point, we can finish this piece out. I'm going to pinch these together with my chain nose right here.
Corian says it looks like you got some sun.
Yeah, I did.
Tell them why you got sun.
On Saturday, I went to the run fair. And I like to wear a lot of like high neck tops usually, and so I didn't really think anything of it or think about sunscreen or anything. Yeah. And I was wearing like a lower neck top because it was a dress, right?
Yeah.
I layered some dresses to like fit the theme, and yeah, it toasted me, but it doesn't hurt. It just is very red. I don't think that it's necessarily a burn because it doesn't hurt at all and it's not peeling, but I need to be more careful than that. and put on some sunscreen so that I don't get skin cancer. I think that's pretty preferable not to get it.
Yes. So I'm wondering if we should just go, because you have to pick up at this point a lot. I'm just going to raise this up just a tiny bit.
Oh, I'm at a point where I'm fine now.
Okay. Well, it's just, yeah. Are you done with the sketch also? At this point,
I
like
can
matching
move
it?
that out of the way. Well, I'm not exactly done because I have.
Because I think the camera wants to focus on that.
So I just wrapped it around once. I pinched this so that this is straight. You can see there's two here. I wanted to start my loops at the top to go to the bottom because we normally finish a wrap loop at the bottom. And then I'm just holding here to keep it from moving.
Monica says, I usually turn red. I call it being lobsterized.
Lobsterized. You can tell like what on my skin is more used to the sun because my back also got it, but it's not red anymore. Like the lower part of my back.
Right, you become kind of conditioned to it.
So it's used to that there. Just not anywhere else. Okay. Now at this point I can clip it. And pinch it down.
Too loud. I'm just going to zoom out on you a little bit.
And so at this point, you have the option to hammer it or not. This piece, I completely flattened it, as you can tell, which you can do that if you want to. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. Because this piece, I did not flatten it. So that's up to your preference. Also, something that I learned from doing my pieces is if you want to have your wire more exposed, I would do some layers of resin first with your painting and then drop in these wire pieces. But
right, if you wanted
it looks good embedded as well, so it just is a preferential thing of what you like.
Like if you wanted to relief it or something, and want it to not covered with the resin, do it later.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
I would add that in last. So I am going to just clean this up a little bit. There's a couple kinks in there that I don't want. And then after that's done, we can hop into our resin portion. I actually don't want to hammer this one. That's just kind of like what I've decided for the design of it. I think it's a little better.
And this one probably won't need it because you have resin in the center that's keeping it stable.
Correct.
So
anything that doesn't have, like if it's resin, you're definitely not going to need it. But even this piece isn't hammered.
Oh, and it's still holding its shape pretty well.
It holds it pretty well, yeah. It's definitely more bendable. If it got caught on something, it would ruin the shape. But it holds it really well. Or if you double it up, like this side piece, I doubled this up, you would not have to hammer it because it comes more solid. What I am going to do, though, is I am going to flatten it a little bit because right now you can see she's not sitting all that flat. And that will be problematic if we're trying to apply some water. Apply some resin, actually, not water. But, so she has some gaps, so I'm just gonna make sure to press down on her a bit. And I'm not gonna actually hammer it, but
just gonna use the hammer to flatten it.
Flat surface.
Yeah. You could probably kind of rub it against it too. Like rub it over it to flatten it.
Yeah. So essentially, we're just making sure this is nice and flush.
It's an off-book use of the hammer, right?
Yes. Less violent, unfortunately. I think it's fun to be a little bit more violent. I
Oh,
think.
having heavier metals in your body makes you burn easier. Interesting.
She's starting to sit quite a bit flatter now. So I'm going to be less concerned about it not spilling out. Okay, so now I'm going to move this massive pile of tools that's encroaching in my space. I feel a little bit claustrophobic and move them out of the way. And so now I have some washi tape. Resin tape is better. You're not going to get the same texture in the background, but it is still functional. So if this is all you have, it works.
I actually prefer the washi tape because it is more flexible. So it's easier to get it to adhere to your shape if it's not perfectly flat.
Interesting.
Because you know how with the other stuff, plus then you can rip it, you don't have to cut it. But I always like to burnish the edges down because it isn't as sticky as the resin tape. I feel like resin tape comes off cleaner and it is stickier.
Yeah, it's definitely way stickier than this. If you're wondering why I'm pulling this out, it's because I want this to be as flat as possible. And the top part of this is not flat. Okay, it needs to go ever so slightly lower. Okay.
Can you use painter's tape? For sure, Terry. You can use painter's tape. It will leave, whatever you put on the back is going to leave a texture in the resin. So if you want it to be untextured, use resin tape. If you washi tape will leave us almost like, I want to say like a satin texture on it. Painter's tape is going to leave more of a texture than either of those options. But
Resin white.
Always take, you can always do another coat of resin on top of it to remove the texture as well after you've got your shape created. So I always say use what you have on hand. Even a couple of layers of like Scotch tape, like the magic tape will work.
This is my new tool. I just cut this. It's a piece of wire. Right now I'm going to do a very like thin layer just to get my base in there.
Are you going to put that just on your mat then?
I actually need to use this.
Okay.
Because this is, you see. Like
that's a really good point then. Can you move it just up a little higher in the whole block, a little higher in the screen?
Yeah, I can do that. So I'm just using this because I need a ledge so that this is sitting as flat as possible.
That's really smart. I didn't think about that. When I did the masterclass on my dragonfly wing, they weren't exactly, they were just those colors. Shapes, I didn't do this. So your tip is even smarter than mine.
Just gonna do a generous amount of resin that I'm going to spread out with my piece of wire. I try to do this more quickly because it does like to, the washi tape likes to peel up on some of the edges here, which is kind of annoying. But I don't want it to ruin my shape here, or I don't want to have to file afterwards to get it to be the right shape.
So just getting this first base layer is critical to.
After this, it's a lot easier to work with it because you're not worrying about these like little gaps that I'm worrying about at the moment. Because the washi tape doesn't stick all that great.
I would believe it. Wendy says I've seen these go for $45 a pair. For earrings like these, I'm guessing she means.
Yeah. Okay. Have a rough base in there. We will perfect it better with another layer, but I just want to get this cured. I don't want it spilling out. So we're going to get that cured, and then we'll make a prettier layer to actually like work on. So she is curing at the moment. If you can't see that like little blue light, you can see it now. My hand looks purple.
Do you want to show them something else while we're waiting?
What else is there to show? Oh, how much do they get of the wire?
10 feet.
10 feet of
Yeah.
the wire. It's a lot that's a lot to work with.
Yeah. So it's, if you're wondering, it is more expensive than the other brass things because it's hand artisan finished.
Yes.
So people have been asking for this wire since about 2007 maybe. And we're just getting around to figuring out how to do it now.
Guys, since I was 6 years old.
So we finally are offering it. You got a little something right there. Yeah. Not that anybody's getting close enough to see it, but yep. Let's see.
She's still going. But yeah, I like the metallic flakes idea. That would be very pretty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, so if you look at all the things that we've done with resin in the master classes, you can do all of those with this wire.
Man, if I was trying to like replicate these fast, I would probably just like this, like once I had my final shape, I would take it, I would take a piece of wood, I would put some hammer some nails in there.
Make a jig.
Yeah, I would make it up, and then I would just
wire it
around it.
So if you don't have, there are wire jigs where you can, like, they have movable pegs that you can do that. But it would be cool.
Like if you don't have one,
just
hammer
make
and
one.
some nails. Just make it.
Oh, I'm noticing that you're wearing one of the belts I gave you.
Yes.
One of the vintage ones. I'm sad, guys. I gave Ainsley all my vintage belts because they don't fit me anymore. My waist's not small enough, but it's nice to see them have a new life. She's like, score. I'm like, that's like 15 years worth of thrifting there.
Yeah. So as you can see, this is messy. I'm going to go over and clean this up. But it is, I'm not going to be worried about it spelling anymore. Because it is nicely locked
Sherry, that is the other really cool thing about this. You can solder the wire because it's natural metal. There's no nylon coating on it. So you can do anything you would do to a raw piece of metal.
So I'm just going to go through and we're going to do a quick cleanup of this. Give it a nice even coating now. And then I'm going to fix this little top part. This, I just wanted to leave a gap here because this is harder to fill nicely. So just nicely spreading her out to the edges. And then after this, we will take the tape off. And we'll start to do our painting and maybe one more layer of resin.
This is kind of, I want to say, like the fun technique, like unique, kind of sparkly, whimsical thing with doing this dragonfly wing, but we'll get into doing some of the more utilitarian things like making paddle head pins, making wrapped loops. It's just so versatile.
Absolutely. You can do a whole lot more than just this one project. That's why I wanted to make sure to show the other stuff that I could create. That a lot of that was just like freestyle. I didn't even do a drawing or anything. Okay, now at this point, I'm just gonna make sure this is nice and tight up here because it doesn't want to sit nicely towards this spot at the top because
Yeah, that's always the trouble spot right there because it's where your wire meets.
yes, exactly. There's like the shape there. So I'm just going in there, trying to keep it in there nicely. And if you're wondering why I'm tilting it right now, this is just gonna help get it even.
Just zoom in. Sorry to cover your face. Like Peggy will say, Ainsley has 3 arms whenever my hand goes in to help you.
So I'm just moving it around to help this get nice and evened out.
Awesome. Corian said the Merfairy Butterfly Woman and the Butterfly Pixie Maiden are almost ready. So we're probably going to be looking at featuring those in maybe in next week's live. So
She's in the cooker. So I'm just holding it for the moment. After I've held it for a few seconds, I'm just going to set it in there. I just wanted to get that top part
yeah, just get it
a little bit cured in there so it doesn't spill out. It might still. And I had pieces where they did spill out more because this is not an easy surface to be working with, especially with the washi tape not being sticky. So what I did, as you can see, maybe you can kind of see this, how there's little edges of resin around the wire. I just simply took dun 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 metal file and I just shaped it along the wire, moving it.
Maybe you
back and
want
forth.
to talk about, a few of those. How many shapes did you do? Do you want to tell them about what you did for the other moon shape one?
This?
Yeah, that one, because I think that we won't have time to demonstrate that. So I think just kind of explaining
Basically,
it.
what I did is
It's not under the screen.
I know I'm looking at it. So let me move this back a bit so that I can actually have this on here.
Just while that's curing.
So this loop I made, I took my wire and I clipped it first. So I started with a clip. I created one side to have a little bit longer than the other. But I started from the middle of the wire and I made a loop here. So I bent it like this and created a loop so you have 2 tendrils, wrapped it around, and then I came through and I started to create this moon arch, curled the shorter piece, and then I did the same thing here, and then I wrapped the longer piece along that curl.
So were those 2 separate bends? So
Yes.
okay, so like this loop that you've got there was in the center of your piece of wire.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. And then you connected it all at the end.
Yes.
Did you do that like freeform wire or from a sketch?
Freeform.
Okay, so you don't always have to use a sketch.
No,
right?
you don't. It's just a good reference if you're trying to achieve a specific shape.
Or like multiples that are the same.
Yes. Okay, we can peel this off.
You're not quite on screen at the moment. You might want to adjust your camera so that it's more
It's
optimal
because
for you.
Actually, I can probably do this. Give me 1 second, guys. This is gonna make my...
Yeah, make that one smaller. There you go.
No, that's not it.
Oh, I think you can go up higher with that though.
There's a way to do it. I'm just trying to... Maybe I can't do it at this point. Anyway, I'll just move my arms up higher. Now I'm peeling. You can get it a little bit stuck sometimes. That's fine. It's pretty easy to clean up a bit. Trying to be somewhat gentle. I don't want to pop it out, so even pressure on both sides.
Yeah, so Wendy says maybe a master class on this more intricate wire working. For sure, you could do one of those in the future, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like a little bit more of intense technique.
Yes. And so that is like the satiny that you're going to be left with. If you wanted to clean this up, what I would recommend is, you know those stickers that you get on like if you go to TJ Maxx, for example, and you have those stickers that are hard to get off, usually you're supposed to use like lemon oil, I think.
Oh, interesting.
So I feel like because this is a sticky surface, maybe using that sort of thing that you would for a tag to get it off would be effective.
But always just test, because I feel like a lot of that's just texture too. And we're going to be painting it, right? Anyway. Yeah. So a lot of that
I know
will be
there is
up.
a little bit, I can feel the stickiness.
There's
so
a little bit in there.
If you didn't want to, I don't mind the texture. I like the dimension that it adds for this piece, but you know, to each their own.
So what colors did you use on this one?
This one, I just used the iridescence. So if you wanted to do it like mine, I would just layer up iridescent colors. It is, however, easier to work with if you use a stain in addition. Mm-hmm. It will come out easier. It will be less, it will just flow more smoothly.
Do you want to use a stain, like white in
I
with
am going to use a little bit of a stain.
Do you want,
let's do chalcedony.
Oh, chalcedony would be pretty.
It seems like
Let's
the right
see if I can
avenue.
find, or lavender. Right?
Yeah, lavender. Whatever the stain version is.
There we go. Ooh. Let's get this shaken up for you. Get the lid all the way put on. It's like halfway on there. How many people have shaken something up with no lid?
Paper towels.
And found themselves with, there you go.
Guys, today, guess what was in my, not my drinking water cup, my paint water cup.
I heard a, Any guesses?
Any guesses?
I heard a big gasp. It was more of like a, one of those.
What was in there? Aunt Wendy was inside my cup.
Me.
She was inside of there.
Oh man.
That would be funny though. A little Honey, I Shrunk the Kids moment. Yeah, Lynn, it was a spider. And you know what? I'm not even scared of spiders. The spider that was in there specifically, anytime that I have gotten bitten, that's the one that I find in my room. Mm-hmm. And I don't have the greatest reaction to it. It takes 3 eons to heal. And so I would prefer not it to be in here and not to get bitten, so that I don't have to wait 6 months.
That's actually, I wonder if that's what bit you when we were in Florida when you were a baby. You had like a dime-sized rash on the back of your leg for months, and I took you to the doctor, and we knew it was a spider bite because it started out like that, and then you had this kind of really kind of major reaction. Yeah, right here.
Here, I got some.
Anyway, so I took you to the doctor, and he's like, yeah, it's just a little bit of allergic reaction, and he gave me some steroid cream to put on it, and it eventually went away, but it took like a few months for it to go away.
I had like a bruise, like a scarring bruise for quite a while from it, so that's mostly my issue, and they're pretty fast, like this one is. I know from chasing one in my room, so I would prefer not to take care of it. Why is this?
Here, let me see it. Because then you can concentrate on getting your other colors. Do you want to use the tray or, oh, it's like there's something stuck in there.
Yeah.
Maybe a piece of a head pin or something. Do you want to use that? I grabbed you a tray so that you can keep your mat all nice and clean. Yeah.
Recognize these guys?
It's been a
We
while
can
since
use
we
them
used
too. We can.
Okay, I got it. It was just a plug of paint, but it was being really sassy.
So I'm gonna do first. Let me grab my other colors too. Grabbing my iridescent green and violet. Do my little drippity drops. I'm going to do my base layer with the chalcedony. Actually, I'm going to pick it up because it's going to be just a little bit easier for me to maneuver. And I'm being pretty generous with it. Just helps with the flow.
I think, like with this view, you can really see the transparency of this, of the stain versus the paint.
You really, it is very much transparent. You can still see through. Like you could tell in the starfish even, or the star that I made.
Mm-hmm. Now, when we officially launch the antique, which we're not far away from that, guys. We just got in all of our beautiful metallic labels for the new line. It's going to be somewhere in between a paint and a stain. So it's going to be like perfect for antiquing. I love having just the right consistency for each application because it saves me so much time when I'm creating the pieces.
Iridescence now. That was violet, adding some green.
Peggy says a plug of Wendy and Mac being sassy.
Okay. And then now I'm just going to
Oh, interesting. Lynn says spiders need a drink, so you'll often find them in the sink or water containers.
Guys, they got at the other studio, they got the Heritage heat gun, so I'm using this one.
It's the new one.
It's the new one.
Would you probably don't want to keep that in your hand, do you? Because won't the metal heat up and burn you?
I can take it.
For other people's safety?
Pop. Don't do what I'm doing.
Maybe demonstrate it the way they should do it.
No.
Wait, what did you say about being like rigid thinking? The other day you're saying like when you have an idea in your head of how you want to execute something, you really just don't want to change it at all, do you?
No.
Even when it comes to like maiming yourself, right?
Correct. No, I just wanted to hold it for a couple seconds. I wasn't going to hold it the whole time.
I'm going to move this like just a little closer to you, I think. And then you don't have to work so hard. There you go. Oh, I love the way the stain is mixing with the iridescence to create that really milky, gorgeous color.
It's a little more concentrated down here, so I just want to make sure I get it nice and dry before we seal this over.
It's bubbling up a little bit. Do you intend to do that?
Yes.
Okay. So it'll probably add some texture in between
It
when
will.
you do that.
Yes. I let it bubble up for the star as well.
Cool.
It's gonna be hot. Be careful. Oh, what the heck? How did that happen? Fire. Also, when you do heat up your resin, it does create a little bit of a
Yeah, you probably.
bendability.
Yeah.
So I'm just flattening this out a little bit.
You're not quite on screen. Do you think that there was just a little bit less cured resin right there?
It was
Yeah.
a little thinner there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Right. So if you move your heat tool while you're drying your paint and don't let it sit in one spot, it's less likely to make it bubble.
Okay. She's sitting more flat now. I am now going to take my other wire pieces because we do want the, I do want them to have that in there. And I'm going to take, do we have a relieving block?
Mm-hmm. I do. I will grab one for you. Do you have your wire cutters there?
Yes.
Do you usually, ooh, look, they can watch you unbox it. ASMR. Actually, what is it when you watch it? It's not ASMR.
ASMR is the
The
sound.
sound, right? Like, what's it like opening the packages thing?
I don't know. I don't know what the name for it is.
Unboxing. Something satisfying about brand new stuff, right?
It's
You
like a
slide it
present.
off. Like a push pop.
Okay. Right now, I'm just gonna go through and I am cleaning up these edges. I just want to be able to see the metal. So I'm just cleaning this up, take the paint off of it.
Doug says unboxing. Yeah, I think there is something like that. Though, like in fish. Oh, look I found there's a little artifact from when we were putting this together in the garage. A little whirly. Just peeking out from behind the frame there.
It's pretty funny.
It took a little ride.
Decided to come with. I'm just looking closely, guys. I just need to be able to see this a little better than I can when I'm on camera. Okay.
Ainsley's not a perfectionist at all. Not even slightly. Can you sense the sarcasm? So now you have a few clippings,
That
right?
I'm going to be doing at this moment. So I'm just doing a rough little guesstimation where I want that, this to there, roughly. Maybe make it a little bit longer.
You're
though.
not on screen.
I know. I was just clipping it. So I just cut a little piece. This is going to be slightly longer than I need potentially. Potentially. Not necessarily.
Oh, I agree, Wendy. She said she can't stand the fingernail tapping on the videos. Like when they're like, oh. That's the what would you call it? Non-satisfying sound.
Mesophonic triggering.
Yes, Sherry, if she painted kind of the middle section of it with chalcedony and then two iridescent colors, violet and green.
So as we can tell, this is just slightly too long. So I'm just going to do a little snipping off of that.
So again, you could probably do this on your sketch, right? Do the
You
small
can do
pieces.
this part on your sketch. That is how I did it last time. It's about where I want that to be. Pull her off because
I've seen this done where people do like wire wrapping in the frame, but this seems much easier. Where they wrap it around the outside, it seems like you get a much cleaner piece where it sits
Taking
nicer.
a small clipping again. I'm just eyeballing at this point, and then I'm gonna adjust it as I go. It just makes it a little bit easier for me. I actually kind of like that shape that already. Just happened to work really
A little bit
well.
of a curve to it already, huh?
for what I like. I'm trying to think if I want to do anything else specifically. I kind of just like those two. You can add more if you want to. I added more for the other one, but I like these two pieces. So I'm just going to pull these off of here. And then we're going to do some more resin. The only thing that bothers me is my chair like always makes the noises where it's like
squeak. They are comfy though. Last week you did it in this plastic shell chair, which you weren't super jazzed about because it's...
Because it sucks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not comfy.
At all.
So it's a trade-off.
Just doing a nice little quick spread around. And I love this part because you really start to see these iridescents underneath here pop beautifully.
It's like a magnifying glass on it, right?
It really is.
So if people wanted to do like the star or anything, they would just start with that process where you were sketching it
Yeah,
out.
I freestyled the star, but like it's difficult to do that. I really had to like be very confident in my skills. And I wasn't trying to get it to be perfect, and that's why I was fine with freestyling it. If you want it to be more even, I wasn't going for that look. I was going for more like
Avant-garde,
yeah,
asymmetrical, whimsical.
yeah, whimsy look. So it wasn't necessary for me, but okay. Just gonna do a little bit of a
Maybe we
moving
should
back and
make
forth to
like
help even this out.
maybe we should make door signs for people that say, "I'm busy watching vintage. Do not disturb."
That'd be pretty funny. I'm looking for any like spots that are not filled properly. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And now I'm gonna take my pliers to set these down on here.
So this would allow the natural brass part of it to stay exposed the way you're doing it currently,
Yes.
which I think I prefer.
Some of it might not be, but it will still be better than
Embedded in the center.
yeah, because this piece isn't completely flat. So it still isn't going to have any of my paint over top of it. Okay, she's in the cooker.
In the oven.
We are getting there.
Stretch break, right? Oh, do you want to explain the construction of your swirl there in your star? How you managed that one?
So basically all I did for this piece here, I can kind of lay it here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to quite focus, but we get the idea. So I did the exact same thing. I made my shape, and then when I went to finish it, instead, you can see I did my wrap, and then I continued with the swirl outside of this wrap here.
So you left a really long tail before
Yes.
the wrap.
Very long tail. And then when I was curing my piece, I flipped this up, bent it up so it wouldn't touch the resin.
Okay, so you could probably like leave it not swirled until
You could finish it out that way. Yeah.
and then do the swirl at the very
And
end.
then to get it to sit a little flatter, because it does stick up a bit, I just made sure to put it behind here, so I bent it to behind here, so that when I pulled it back around, it's gonna want to go backwards more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So pull behind, let it sit there. It's gonna adjust to there.
You just kind of trained the wire backwards.
And so then I just pulled it back around. It will sit a lot flatter than it did before.
You could probably do like secure it with a little dot of resin too.
Yeah, you could definitely do that too.
So that one's just about, do you want to show how we finished off the necklace portion of your demo piece there?
Yeah, we can do that. It's basically done though, so. Here's my round 2 of my fairy wing. We can go through and clean this up as well. Only thing that I think for me about this one that bothers me just a little bit is this spot here. I didn't get it thick enough, and that's why I did that like weird little bump
right
there.
and holding the heat tool probably in one spot for too long. But you could sand that and add more resin if you wanted to.
You definitely could.
It's really a very forgiving medium.
And then I feel like too, if you definitely, if this has like a tiny bit of resin over top of it, we could definitely use the file to get that resin off of it.
Adorbs.
And if you don't want this silky surface, you can always use the matte glaze on top of this. Or we can even go over top. Let's just do this really quickly, we might as well. Go over top, just on this portion here.
You're just going to do some more iridescent. Which is, you know, really great thing about our paints is that they will stick to resin, which a lot of things will not.
Just cleaning my brush off so I don't get any large chunks on the piece. So I'm just taking some iridescent. And I actually like the fact that it can make it a bit stripy with the iridescent, because I feel like it adds to
Kind of
the
like
shape of the wing.
Yeah, kind of like that camphor glass technique where Mackie or Wendy, I don't know, I think they kind of team taught that one, and you're adding a little bit of almost mattifying to the top.
Yeah. But
when you're
also,
adding that
these
texture.
Streaks create it, like, to me, or look like the little like wing. Do you see the streaks, guys? To me, that looks like the wing, like texture of like it going that direction.
I'm wondering, I'm not seeing recent oh, here we go. Yeah, I'm seeing recent comments now. Okay.
So adding a little bit of that, maybe we can go in with a little bit of the violet for even more dimension. Really great way to finish it out, create even more whimsy. And then if we just hang it up here, try and get a better view for you guys. Super cute earring. And these are so light because they are resin.
That almost looks like it could be shell too.
Yeah.
I like the addition of the chalcedony. Whoa, that was really, really like singing there. Look at the how the iridescent is reflecting in the camera. So pretty. So satisfying. Let's do some of the head pins for the to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Let me clean my space slightly.
I'll trade you. You can have this one, and I will take your paints out of the way.
Ready, guys? Quickest demo ever. Wow. Clipping done. Fantastic. Hammer. Move this out of the way. We don't need a shatter hazard.
You know what we need to...
Wow, look at that. Look at me go. Look at that. My third arm is being extra helpful for my speediness.
I'm just gonna move this over a little bit.
I just want to showcase how easy this is.
Like, and it's really important. Like, yes, you've seen a wire wrap loop before, but when you see how this just butterly, it bends so beautifully.
Here's a chain nose right by you.
Mm-hmm. So if you want like that messy wrapped loop, just amazing for that.
Then you can do very clean as well. It's just what I decided to do for this one specifically.
I'm assuming you're talking about if it makes you feel any better, Corian, these stolen from your office's frames I personally made with my own 2 hands. So. Oh no, you had to buy your own Mother's Day chocolate yesterday? No. I got
I have a Mother's Day present for you.
Ooh.
It's in my car.
I got a sweatshirt, bath salts. I don't know,
From who?
your dad was really on the ball.
Yeah. You
This
see,
year.
guys, I am the golden child. I'm the only person who ever buys my parents presents.
But it was like, face masks, 2 different kinds. Epsom salts. What else? I don't know. There's something else in there. And like a pale yellow fuzzy sweatshirt.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to see demoed specifically?
Oh yeah, so I think, what was the other thing? Oh, these. I think you should show that with the because we do these all the time. We used to do them with eye pins all the time, and they're really great for that. Just, you can do it without a wrap loop even. It's just like the triangle bail.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna do that, maybe take this out because it's easier to see your beads on top of this than on this shiny metal. The loop bail, she says, yes. Ooh, a handmade, what's a cachet or cash planter, Monica? Oh, Peggy says show the bracelet. When we want to make something like quick view of the displays. Yes. So Monica was the one that was asking about these guys. Some of them were from the store. Some of them were from CHA when we and Bead and Button when we demonstrated there. So what
You
are
might
laughing
recognize
about?
some of them.
Yeah. Oh, you're a little high on the, there you go. Trying to stay focused on 3 things at once is not my strong suit. So these are thicker than if you were using like a head pin or eye pin, because the wire is slightly thicker. But you could even do like a simple loop with this bail, and it will be strong enough so it doesn't have to have the wrap loop. But it just adds a little bit extra something, doesn't it, whenever you did wrap more wire around?
Yep.
The cache is usually built on high stilts out in the woods to keep bears out of food. Interesting. Do you have
Well, we've been on for
yeah.
so.
I was just gonna say, just for the
Those
emergency,
were the
because
wrapped loops.
Peggy was asking about the bracelet, so if you can go over the construction of that.
I mean, it's very simple.
Yes.
It's very simple. Ready, guys? It's gonna be so mind blowing. You have your piece of chain cut to the size you want or opened up to the size you want, not necessarily cut. Wow. Ready? Watch this. To put your chain on and to put all of your charms with the JR45s, you simply slide them on.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? You could do
uses-
necklaces this way. You could do bracelets this way.
So everything's slid on. These are just attached as normal. You know how to attach jump rings. This is what we showed you earlier, right here with the sleeve. And then all we have to do with our chain is slip it on. If it's not big enough, you just add a JR45 to the edges of your chain. And that is the construction of this piece.
Okay, yes.
Very
so,
easy.
Lynn, everything that you saw in the demo today, there's a link on vintage.com, and it just says Vintage Live featured items. There's a graphic. You'll notice like this star. You'll notice like this is in the image, the bracelet. You click on it, and you're going to find all the materials, and the very first item is the wire.
But yeah. Any other quick questions?
Oh yeah, so Monica wanted to see, so I'm gonna zoom out. Do you wanna go to full screen? So I can give her a little bit better view of the displays.
Ta-da!
So the top ones I built using a pine board, and then those are bits of copper tubing. So like you get at the hardware store, they're T-joints. So I got those at Ace Hardware, and then I can show you guys sometime maybe how to build them. That might be a fun masterclass to do these. The other frames, we got these really great acrylic, very, very long time ago, busts. And so those are just wired to foam core board and inside a barn frame. So we just I took a drill and drilled holes through them. And so they're wired in 4 places, 2 at the top. And so they're really great for like studio display, or if you have a backdrop or anything. This one was like a Hobby Lobby frame and some Hobby Lobby edging. And so we just stapled that to the back. And then we've got all sorts of earrings hanging in there. So yes, Corian was nice enough to give up some of these beauties from her office, because she had them hanging in there from our old displays, so that we could have a really nice, inspiring way to showcase some of our past and future projects.
Okay, you can have another, you can sit back down. Look at that cute vintage belt.
Okay. But that is essentially everything for today, right?
Yeah, I think so. And remember, you can save 30% on the charms, including the ones that we did today. So great for the charm keeper bracelets, for the earrings that Ainsley demoed. And that's really easy. That's just making a wire hoop.
Yep, you could use your, if you have a ring bell, if you have a can at your
Yeah.
house, any cylindrical
Yeah.
item to make a nice even
We
hoop.
didn't really-
I did this freehand, but if
Yeah.
you want to make it easy on yourself, which I would recommend it, just find something that's cylindrical. Like,
Right.
it's that easy.
Yeah, to wrap it around. I feel like the rounds are easier to do than the specialty whimsical shapes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But yeah, so super excited you guys joined us today. We really hope you enjoyed the demo. I wanted to create something fun for you guys and an exciting project for this summer. So super excited to have showcased this with you guys today. And I feel like this came out even better, this one, than my first one. This is so
I
cute.
really like
So-
the way the finish is. So with the other colors, you just used like a base of different stain colors. So primitive
Yes.
green for the green star.
Primitive green
Yeah.
and mountain stream mixed for this
Oh,
one.
both of them.
And then
Yeah.
a bunch of different iridescents are in here, so you can kind of see better on this side what all the iridescents are in there.
You're full screen.
Oh my gosh. You can kind of see better.
Yeah.
I have iridescent gold in here, violet, green, and aqua to create a lot of dimension. And then the two mountain stream and primitive green mixed together.
Okay, Monica says these would look great in my booth at the market. Awesome.
Yeah, so thank you
Awesome.
so much for coming
Do you wanna
today,
switch?
everybody. So, and we will see you next time with Monday.